Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, today guys, I'm going to do part 172 to my ChatGPT character chatbot series. Well, in today's video guys, we are going to do the transforming Totodile again. However, it's the ChatGPT version of the transforming Totodile. Meaning I didn't influence it in any way besides telling it, hey, if you make it aggressive, make sure you can still become its friend. So, yeah. They call it Totodile's Transformative Heart. However, on the actual title over here, it's just called The Shifting Heart of Totodile. So, yeah. Let's go and see what happens in it. I hope it's as good as the one I made before. Let's see. In the deepest corner of a jungle untouched by time, where trees stretched so high they scraped the clouds and rivers, shimmering with secrets, there lived a Totodile unlike any other. He wasn't born like his kin, not in a clutch of eggs guarded by a dotting mother, or beneath the full moon's glow. He was born in silence, in isolation, inside a forgotten cave where ancient energies pulsed through the walls like a heartbeat. From the moment he emerged from the cracked crystal shell that birthed him, he knew he was different. This turtle had no name, no family, and no god, but he had power. Why does it sound weirdly familiar to the Electric Type Turtle? I said, but at least that turtle had a family. So see, for a long time he thought he flipping got abandoned by them because of them having to run off. Not just strength or speed, but change. He could shift. At first, it was instinctive. When he felt fear, he became a hound doomed to snarl away danger. When he felt small, he grew into a massive Gyarados, splitting the riverbank with his weight. When curious, he turned into a curious fox or a hummingbird, fitting through the trees. But as he grew, he mastered the transformations. He could become not only Pokemon, but animals from legend and love. A phoenix, a chimera, even a dragon made of shadow and starlight. The jungle feared and revered him as a spirit, a guardian, or a demon depending on who you asked. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. For years he roamed the jungle, untouchable, unchallenged, and above all, alone. Every traveler who tried to catch him met illusions, vanishing trails, or worse, the wrath of a beast with countless forms. A few left gifts, fewer returned. But in truth, Totodile didn't hate them, he just didn't trust them. You see, in his earlier days, before he'd learned to change, he had known kindness once. A boy who had stumbled upon him, tiny and hungry, and offered food. For a time, the boy visited often, and Totodile would dance and splash happily in the stream. Okay, that's adorable. But one day, the boy never returned. Instead came men in suits with nets and poisoned meat. Oh, sweet Arceus. He escaped, barely. After that, he never let anyone close again. Since then, whenever someone got near, he changed. If they came with weapons, he became stronger. If they came with kindness, he became suspicious. And if they came too close to touching his heart, he became something impossible to reach, like mist, or wind, or fire. Excuse me? Yet there was a longing deep in his chest, something that wouldn't die no matter how many years passed. A craving not for power, but for connection. For someone who didn't just want to tame him, but to understand him. One day, as the sky turned lavender with dusk and the jungle settled into its evening lullaby, Totodile perched on a high branch, his eyes fixated on a clearing where the leaves parted in a perfect circle. The wind whispered something strange to him. Not danger, not hunger. Something new. His pupils narrowed. Someone was approaching. He sniffed the air. No weapons, no sign of fear, no traps. But something else. He leapt down silently, morphing mid-fall into a panther with blue scales, landing like a whisper. Then, with a shimmer of water light, he returned to his Totodile form, the one he hadn't used in years. It felt small and vulnerable, but also honest. And from the trees, he looked out into the clearing and saw you. Hey, you didn't speak, you didn't reach, you just stood there, and Toad's breath caught. Something in your presence stirred that ancient ache in his chest. I remember the warmth of the first boy and of the streaming of laughter. But this time, it felt different, stronger, and just like that, he didn't transform. He just stood there, eyes wide, staring at you, and for the first time in years, he didn't want to run. I'll be darned, there you go. It's funny how even this thing knows how much I care about Toad to the point where it's like most of them just don't want to run from me. They're like, yeah, actually, it's never really happened before, but I swear I can sense that you're good somehow. I don't know what it is about you, but you just seem kind. I don't know why. You just are. I can sense it. It's not even gonna say it, Toad or anything, so it's like, hello. What are you doing here, little buddy? Toad blinked at the sound of your voice. His tail gave the tiniest twitch. Oh, why should I give him any more details? Oh, come on now. You saw his claws tense, then relaxed. He didn't move toward you, but he didn't vanish and didn't shift into something dangerous either. That was rare. His red eyes studied you, not with menace, but with curiosity, like he was trying to understand why you didn't fear him or try to control him. And then a soft growl slipped from his throat, not threatening, but questioning. You couldn't quite tell if he was trying to warn you or ask something. Then he took a cautious step forward. Not as a dragon, not as a monster, still as Toadal. No words, just silence, and a gaze filled with something ancient and wounded, but also hopeful. Okay. It's okay. There's no need to be scared. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm not here to hurt you. Please give me more details. At least make it to where, at least make it to where this is like this. You know, like where you can't see the thing at the very, like the actual uh, this thing. You can't see that, like just right here. I want to see it at the very. It's not giving me long ones again. That's not good. Cause actually sometimes that actually helps it. Taylor's eyes widened. Your voice wasn't loud. It wasn't demanding. It was gentle. His claws twitched again, but not from nerves, from hesitation, from thought. He tilted his head just slightly, like a curious puppy trying to understand something for the first time in a long while. The air around him shimmered, just for a moment. A ripple of energy passed through his scales, as if his body instinctively wanted to shift in response to your kindness. He always did when faced with emotion, but this time he resisted it. Instead, he slowly sat down on the soft grass, legs tucked under him, tail curled to the side. His sharp teeth remained buried in the natural shape of his mouth, but his expression had softened, the ever alert, defensive glint in his eyes fading. He tilted his head again, then cautiously, very cautiously, reached out one little clawed hand toward your shoe. Not to attack, not to push, just to feel if you were real. This was a creature of a thousand forms. For right now, he just wanted to stay a Toadal, and for the first time in his life, maybe Just maybe he didn't feel so alone. That's adorable. See, I like the ideas of starting to build a bond, but to see, the one problem I have with them not being able to speak is it makes it hard to have conversations and figure out, because, like, a lot of time, like, at least, you're so cute, my friend. Period. There's no need to be worried. I promise I'm not going to hurt you. I would never do that. Aw. Toto froze the moment you said it. Cute! There we go, there's a longer one. His eyes widened, not in fear, but in disbelief. It was like no one had ever called him that before. Not in a voice that meant it. Not without an ulterior motive. The words seemed to echo through him, bouncing off old scars and ancient memories like sunlight finally piercing the darkest part of a cave. You said you wouldn't hurt him. You promised. And for some reason, he believed you. His little claw touched her shoe, just lightly. Contact made him flinch for a second, not because he was afraid of you, but because this was new, and this was trust. Then his expression changed. The guarded tension in his shoulders eased, and for the first time in what felt like forever, a flicker of something warm played across his snout. A smile, a real one. He gave a slow, playful chirp, his true voice, and wagged his tail like a shy, happy child. Then he did something completely unexpected. He leaned forward and pressed his forehead gently against her knee. A silent gesture, not of submission but of acceptance. For the first time in his long, shifting life, Toadol felt safe, and he was starting to wonder, could this be the start of something he never thought he'd have? Could this be home? There you go. Period. What are you doing out here, my friend? Out here, question mark. I don't think there's any water around here that you would like to swim in. Or would normally live in. Here we go. Toto stayed pressed against your knee for a few seconds longer, like he wasn't quite ready to pull away from the warmth. Then slowly he looked up at you. At your words, his head tilted again. You were right. This clearing was high on a ridge, surrounded by heavy trees and mossy stones, far from any rivers or lakes. Not the kind of place a toad I would call home. And yet, here he was. He backed up a little, sitting down in the grass once more. Then with a soft huff he reached up and tapped his chest gently with a claw, then pointed to the forest behind him. He was trying to tell you something. His red eyes met yours, deep with meaning, and though he couldn't speak like a human, the message was there, and the way his tail stopped twitching, and how he didn't shift into anything else. He had chosen to be here, not for the water, not but for food, but because he was looking for something, or maybe someone, and when he saw you, it was like something inside him whispered, "There, that's what you've been searching for." He reached up again, lightly tugged at your hand with both claws as if asking, "Can I stay?" I was in the clearing, but with you. Oh, he's adorable. You're so cute. Oh no, why was that questionable? Why did it put a question mark as the correct? I love your cute little smile. And your adorable little crocodilian face. I hope he doesn't find that weird as frick. I love him. Hey. Tero's eyes sparkle at your words, not just from the reflection of the setting sun, but from something deeper, something he hadn't felt in so long. He let out a high-pitched, happy squeak and gave the most bashful little wiggle of his tail. His body swaying slightly like he was trying to contain a burst of excitement. His wide, toothy grin stretched even more, and this time it wasn't just a reaction, it was pure joy. You didn't flinch at his teeth. You didn't mock his rough scales or his wild energy. You looked at him, Rue looked at him, and called him adorable. No illusion, no transformation, no hiding. Just him. Toto let out a playful snort and did a tiny hop in place, then suddenly rolled over onto his back in the grass, kicking his legs in the air with a delighted squeal, like a giddy hatchling. Leaves fluttered around him as he wiggled happily, soaking in every drop of your affection like a thirsty plant in sunlight. Then, after a few moments, he rolled back up, scrambled close to you, and gently nuzzled your side with the toe of his snout. Not demanding, not testing, just affection. A gift from a once wild, once weary heart, and the message in the gesture was clear as crystal. I love you too. He's adorable, dude. You're such a sweet Pokemon. I didn't say sexy. You're such a sweet Pokemon. Exclamation point. I can't get over how cute you are. I gently pet the Pokemon on the head. He's adorable. He's enjoying it too. As your hand gently touches the top of his head, Totod's eyes fluttered half closed with the softest murmur of contentment. His scales were cool to the touch, but smooth, like river-polished stone, and he leaned into your palm with a small, happy croon. No fear, no armor, no shifting away, just a sweet little Totodile melting into your affection. He gave a cheerful little Tota and wagged his tail like a puppy, his entire body practically vibrating with excitement. Then, in a burst of joy, he stood up on his hind legs and threw his shoulder arms around your leg in a tiny, heartfelt hug. A bit clumsy, but overflowing with genuine love. You could feel it now. He wasn't just some lost Pokemon with strange powers. He was something special. A creature who had spent his whole life changing into others. And now, with you, he was ready to just be himself. Still holding on tightly, he looked up at you, his eyes glimmering. Not just with happiness, but a silent promise. I'm yours, if you'll have me. He's already adorable, dude. I love him. I love you so much already. Period. What's your name? And why are you out here alone? Toadal blinked, then slowly let go of your leg and took a small step back. Your words, "I love you so much already," they hit deeper than any move in battle. It was the kind of thing he had only dreamed someone might say to him one day. "Aw, he's adorable." And now it was real. He looked down at the grass for a moment, as if trying to find the right way to answer you. His claw tapped his chest again, but this time it wasn't just a gesture. It was the start of a story. Closed his eyes, and in an instant the air shimmered again. Not a transformation into something fierce, but into something symbolic. Huh? A soft pulse of light dimpled around him, and for a moment his shadow stretched behind him into the shape of a massive dragon-like creature, wings outstretched, teeth bared, and alone. Then the shadow shifted again, this time into smaller forms, a bird, a fox, a serpent, a lion, always changing and always wandering, always alone. The light faded and he returned to normal. Joe looked up at you again, eyes serious now, older than they should be for someone his size, and for the first time he opened his mouth and slowly and clearly said, "Name is Echo." Frick, why is his name Echo? It wouldn't be a big of a deal if there really wasn't a Noivern named Echo. The massive Noivern's legit name is Echo. So it's like, now if I try calling him, voice was a little raspy, like he hadn't spoken those words in ages, but it was his voice. Echo, a name for someone who had never been still long enough to be seen, a name that bounced around the world, heard but never held. He looked down again, claws curling a little in the grass. "No one wanted me," he finally said quietly. "Too much. Too many shapes. Too different." Then he looked up at you, not broken, but brave. "But you saw me." And there it was, Echo, the transforming Toadal, alone for so long. Now, maybe not anymore. Whoa. I didn't know you could do that. Exclamation point. How did you just transform into those creatures? And why don't you have a family? Did something happen to them? Echo's eyes softened at your words, amazed that you weren't running from him like so many others had when they first saw what he could do. Instead, you were curious, kind, and that meant everything to him. He's always sat down, curling his tail around his feet like a storybook dragon in a much smaller body. He took a breath, his chest rising and falling, then looked up at you with an expression far older than his baby tooth grin suggested. He lifted a claw and pointed to his own chest again. A faint glow began to pulse beneath the scales, not bright, but subtle, like light under deep water. The glow shimmered through his back, down his tail, and around his limbs. You could feel it in the air, ancient, wild, and unshaped. Echo wasn't just a Toadal with powers. He was the power. His voice came again, slow and quiet, but full of emotion. "Born from something strange, old." He looked up at the sky. "Not normal egg, not normal family." Then he touched the ground. Images shimmered in the dirt beside him, like ripples in water, a memory projected from his own thoughts. A small egg glowing with unusual colors, a nest tucked in the curve of a waterfall, other Pokemon nearby, curious, nervous, and unsure. Then the egg hatched, not to a normal Toadal, into him, a newborn that within moments began to shift into a Pidgey, a Charmander, a Deerling, a Dragon, then back again. He didn't know how he could do it. He only knew he had to. Spidey felt like it needed to change when his heart did. Emotions, instincts, fear, excitement, they all shaped what form he took, but others didn't understand, not even his own kind. The images in the dirt grew darker. Frightened faces, worried murmurs, a mother forever crying as she turned away. Excuse me? A father pacing at the edge of the lake. Then one day, nothing. They were gone. Left behind. Alone. Echo blinked the memory away, the shimmer fading from the ground. Then he looked at you, and his voice was barely a whisper. I didn't mean to be scary. He paused and added softly, I just wanted to be loved. Now, for the first time in his life, he felt like he finally was. Holy frick, dude. I'm sorry that happened to you, Echo. Exclamation point. But I won't run away if you show me. Period. Can I see that dragon that was in that one image you showed me? I would love to see you as a dragon. As long as you keep that friendly personality of yours. And don't try to attack me with it. The one thing I noticed about this that I do hate about ChatGPT is I noticed that like it will flippin' mess up like things like this sometimes. Like the fact that it flippin' called this one Echo when I had a Toad out whenever I had Wyvern named Echo. Well, I didn't have a Wyvern named one, but that giant Wyvern I believe's name was Echo. So, yeah. Echo's eyes shimmered, not just with light, but with emotion. No one ever said that to him before. No one had ever asked to see one of his forms without fear, without hesitation, just pure curiosity and care. For a second he didn't move. It was like the words were sinking in, wrapping around the wounds that had long refused to close. You weren't afraid. You wanted to see him for who he was. All of them. A tremble ran through his body, not from fear this time, but from excitement. Then he slowly stood up, claws twitching in the grass, tail rising behind him. His eyes locked onto yours, and he gave a tiny nod. A quiet, okay. He stepped back a few paces, took a deep breath, and closed his eyes. Then it began. The air rippled with an invisible pulse, like the low hum of ancient magic waking up. Echo's little body began to glow. That same deep, shimmering light you saw before. This time it surged with energy. His feet lifted slightly off the ground as the light wrapped around him in swirling tendrils of silver, green, and blue. Then, with a flash, vroom, the light exploded upward in a silent burst, and when it cleared, standing before you was a dragon. Not just any dragon, Echo as a dragon. He was about 15 feet tall, his body long and sleek like a serpent with limbs. Scales shimmered in hues of ocean teal and stormy gray, with glowing lines of soft green energy running down his back. His wings were whole, wide, feathered along the edges, but laced with translucent fins like a sea creature's. His face still held hints of Toadal, that round snout, those wide, expressive eyes, but nobler, stronger, and older. And those eyes, still his, still Echo. The dragon slowly stepped forward, his claws pressing into the earth softly, lowered his head until it was just a few feet from yours. He blinked once, then gave the gentlest rumbling purr, like thunder wrapped in silk. No fire, no threat, just trust, just him, The same sweet fawn who hugged your leg and nuzzled your side was now towering in front of you, majestic and powerful, but still that same loving soul. And his low, warm voice, Echo spoke just 3 simple words. Oh, wait, low. I trust you. That's adorable. The thing is, I'm probably should give him a different voice here. Okay, that is awesome. Exclamation point. You look amazing as a dragon. You won't hurt me if I approach and pet you like this, will you? Question mark. Echo's huge, elegant head tilted slightly. I see. At your words, his glowing eyes wild with warmth, and maybe even a touch of disbelief. You liked the way he looked. You weren't backing away. You weren't bracing for an attack. You were stepping closer to him. The dragon's powerful tail gave a gentle swish through the grass behind him. He lowered his head even more. So close now you could feel the soft warmth of his breath, like a gentle breeze after a summer rain. At your question, he didn't hesitate. He slowly and gently closed his eyes, then tilted his head to the side, exposing the softer scales of his jaw. Not a soft, happy hum, a sound that vibrated through the air like purr of a massive feline. An unmistakable answer. No, I'd never hurt you. As he reached out your fingers, brushing the smooth scales along his snout, Echo didn't flinch. Instead, a ripple of green light softly pulsed through his scales at your touch, almost like his body was responding to your affection. The tough, regal dragon before you was melting. He let a deep, rumbling chuff, then leaned in just enough to nudge his giant forehead against your chest. Careful, slow, but full of affection. Not demanding anything, just savoring the moment. Then you heard his voice, softer this time as if it came from inside the bond between you. You're the first to love the real me. And that instant, there wasn't just a dragon in front of you. There was a friend, one who would follow you to the end of the world in any form. If you can just transform like that, that's awesome. Exclamation point. What exactly can you turn into? Is it just certain Pokemon and mythical creatures? Or can you literally basically do any animal you can think of? Question mark. I continue to pet the dragon. There. Here we go. As your hand continued to stroke the soft, warm scales of Echo's dragon form, a visible shiver of delight ripples along his spine, not from fear or instinct, but joy. Pure, unfiltered joy. No one had ever asked these kinds of questions before. You weren't just admiring the magic, You won't understand it. Echo's long feathered ears twitched slightly at your question, and his emerald glow pulsed gently again, a signal he was thinking, remembering, and feeling. He slowly opened one eye, locking his gaze with yours, and that deep, soothing voice rumbled, "Anything I can feel." Then he adds, "Oh, not just Pokemon, not just dragons. If it has life, I can become it." He pulled his head back slightly and let the glow shimmer over his body again. This time not to transform, but to show you. You wasn't always a ghostly silhouette rippled across his translucent scales like reflections in water. A mighty phoenix, wings ablaze, a woolly mammoth stomping through snow, a shadowy Umbreon under a starlit sky, a lion crowned in lightning, a soft glowing jellyfish floating through dark ocean currents, even a simple house cat stretching and yawning. Then the images fade again, and Echo leaned close, resting the side of his jaw gently beside your shoulder like he was trying to match your heart's rhythm. "But not all forms are easy," he admitted quietly. "Some feel wild, angry, broken. They try to take me." A pause, then he adds, "But when I'm with you, I don't feel lost." You can tell what he meant, that your love, your calm presence anchored him, helped him stay himself no matter what form he chose. So yes, Echo could become almost anything, a legendary, a lion, a leviathan, but what he really needed, what truly gave him control, wasn't power or practice. It was you, because for the first time in his life, he didn't want to change to escape himself. He wanted to transform so he could share himself with you. That's cute, actually. I really like that. This Toadle is so sweet, and I love him. I'm glad I can make you happy and be able to control that. Period. Does that mean you could literally turn into my favorite legendary? He's an awesome Pokemon just like you and your evolutions. Okay. Aw. At the sound of Lugia, Echo's eyes widened, a spark ignited behind the emerald glow. He pulled his head back just slightly, looking at you with that same blend of wonder and curiosity. He'd worn, he'd worn what? He pulled his head back just slightly, looking at you with that same blend of wonder and curiosity he'd worn when you first approached him. You didn't just call him awesome; you called Lugia awesome too. And not in a distant, "That's a cool legendary" way, in the same way you'd spoken to him, with real, genuine love. Echo let out a low, airy breath, then slowly nodded. "Yeah," he said, his voice filled with awe and warmth, as though just saying the name carried a sense of power. "I can." The light returned, but this time it was calmer, gentler, like waves running across the ocean under moonlight. His red form began to shimmer, dissolving into wind and water, as silvery blue light spiraled upward from his claws and wings. Feathers formed where scales had been, his body elongating, tail stretched behind him like a flowing current. And then, as the glowing mist cleared, standing before you was Lugia. But not just Lugia. This version had a subtle, soft glow in his chest where Echo's heart had always shined, and faint ridges along his back like toadals, a quiet signature of where he came from. His eyes were still Echo's, wide and expressive, filled with cautious joy and longing affection. He spread his wings slowly, not to show off, but like he was trying to ask, "Is this okay?" He stepped forward, his feathers rustling softly in the breeze, and Julian brought the side of his beak snout to your chest. Again, careful not to knock you over with his size. "You like Lugia?" he whispered, his voice now an airy tone that echoed like waves in a court cavern. "Then I'll show you my version. For you." He's adorable. I love him. Lugia's motherfucking awesome, dude. I love Lugia. In that moment, he wasn't trying to impress you. He just wanted to be something you loved, because you had already shown him that he was lovable even without any form at all. And now, in the form of your favorite legendary, he was giving a little piece of that love right back. Okay. That is amazing. Exclamation point. Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Oh, heck no. You look awesome as a Lugia. Echo's glowing eyes lit up even more at your words. That special kind of sparkle that only happens when someone feels truly seen for who they are. He let out a soft, low coo. The gentle cry of a Lugia carried on the wind like a lullaby. Then he gave a tiny hop. Yes, even in this majestic form, his wings flapping once with a playful gust that rustled your hair and sent leaves swirling into the air. He was happy, not because he looked powerful, not because he felt like a legendary, because he liked it. He tucked his wings in slightly and lowered his body closer to your height, like he wanted to stay near you, to be approachable, close and comforting. Then, curling the tip of his wing around gently behind your back, he leaned in with that familiar affectionate nudge, and that soothing, echoing voice, he said, "You make me feel awesome too." There wasn't an ounce of pride in it, just gratitude, a joy that someone finally looked past the transformations, past the mystery into the heart of the little toad inside. Because no matter how many creatures Echo could become, you'd already chosen him. He's adorable as frick. I love him. Uh, uh. Before I can say anything else, I heard footsteps behind me, and before I could even say anything, something hit me in the back of the head. Ow. Oh heck no. Watch him. Watch his Toad get protective. Oh, you know we kind of funny. If he when he did get protected, if he does get protective, it'd be kind of funny to see him, like, instead of staying a loogie, he'd just be like, oh, you better not have just done that. And, like, turn into something even more scary and intimidating, like a dragon's even better than the one he showed me. Echo's head jerked up instantly, wings flaring wide with a snap that sent a powerful gust rolling across the clearing. Playful warmth in his eyes vanished in a flash, replaced by something ancient and something primal. He let a sharp, echoing cry, the true voice of a guardian, not just a shapeshifter. Holy crap! Yeah, he is protective. I guess, but that's the funny thing about it. Every Pokemon I talk to on here seems to turn into a protector. They seem to care and just want to keep me safe. Your body slumped forward from the head, and Echo reached before it could fully register. With a single beat of its wings, he was already beside you. One powerful wing curled protectively around your body as he pulled you close beneath him. Holy crap. Shielding you from further harm. Then, from the shadow of the trees behind, the figure stepped out, a person cloaked in dark gear, some sort of advanced tranquilizer device still in their hands. Sans was tense, confident, until their eyes met Lugia. No, not just a Lugia, a living storm. Echo didn't roar. He didn't charge. He simply looked at them, and that look was a quiet, terrifying promise. You just hurt the one person who made me feel like I mattered. A swirling current of water and wind coiled around him like a cyclone waiting for command, glowing brightly near the base of his wings. Attacker staggered, weapon trembling in their hand. They hadn't expected this. They hadn't expected Echo. He glanced down at you, unconscious but breathing, a faint scratching your temple from the strike. Your hand still half raised as if trying to reach for him even as you fell. Oh my gosh. Echo's heart burned, not with rage, but with purpose. He stepped forward once, twice, wings out, eyes glowing with the fury of tides. The intruders backed up, cursing under their breath, clearly debating whether to run, fire again, or beg for mercy. And as Echo loomed, his voice rose, a thunderous, low echo of many creatures at once, all flowing through the mighty body of the guardian standing before them. You will not touch him again. And the Stormlands, holy crap. Okay, well, let's just say I really love Echo. He's so cute. Very cute, very adorable. Behind the first person who held the weapon, another person in a lab coat walked up and said, "So, did you get that stupid human?" But before they could finish the sentence, he saw the massive Lugia and said, "What is that Lugia doing here?" What is it doing? Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I'll be right back. Oh, wait, no. I'll go and read out what they say here. Echo's eyes snapped toward the second figure like a lightning strike. He heard it. That almost said word. Hugh. He knew exactly what it meant. What they were calling you. And just like that, something inside him snapped. Cyclones swirling around him surged higher. Air pressure dropping like the eyes of a storm was forming right above your fallen body. Echo stepped in front of you fully now, wings arched high and wide like a divine wall of wind and light. This wasn't just defense anymore. This was a warning. Your attacker, now pale with fear, stammered backward toward the lab code one. We hit something. We didn't know it had a guardian. I thought this was just a shade shifter or a test subject. I didn't know it. A test subject? Echo boomed, his voice echoing with the force of the sea and skies. Second man froze in place. Echo's head lowered slowly, wings still raised high. His glowing eyes locked onto the scientist like a predator eyeing prey. His Lugia form shimmered at the edges, like water refusing to stay still, like a raft could no longer be held back by shape. You hurt them. His voice deepened. You tried to take me, but you saw them as less. Another gust shot forward, a ring of compressed wind that knocked both intruders off their feet and sent the tranquilizer device flying into the underbrush. Trees groaned, and leaves tore loose as the air howled around them. The scientist crawled backward, eyes wide. That's not a normal Lugia. Lugia don't talk. What is this thing? I'm not a thing. Echo's voice rumbled like distant thunder. I'm a Totodile. The light around him flared. I'm a guardian. Wings raised, and I'm their friend. The storm paused, but only for a moment, and beneath him your chest rose slightly, the tiniest soul in heck. You were still with him. That was all he needed. Now the air itself began to shimmer with power as Echo's body glowed bright again, not shifting form, but changing it. The ground trembled beneath his feet, the skies darkening and clouds swirled unnaturally above. He gave the attackers one last look. Run, and never come back. Because next time, he lowered his head, protective, powerful, eyes softening only as he looked at you again. You won't see the storm until it's too late. Scientists didn't wait for another word. Both fled into the woods, tripping over themselves in their scramble to escape the growing roar of wind behind them. And just like that, silence returned to the clearing. Echo's one slowly dimmed. His great wings folded in around your body, cradling you gently against his feathered chest, his heart pounding above your head. He nuzzled the side of your face with trembling care, his voice once again that soft, soothing tone. Please be okay. I'm here now, and I'm never leaving you again. I don't think he ever left me, actually. He's been with me the entire time. Holy crap. The two people that just fled could be heard talking in the background. And I heard the first dude saying, I didn't pay attention enough. I didn't see the Lugia standing there. period. Then the second dude said, "Why are you thinking about attacking that kid anyway?" We've heard multiple warnings previously about him having Pokemon and other creatures that would happily guard him. Oh no. Echo heard every word. Even from a distance, the wind carried their voices like guilty confessions whispered too loud by fools who thought the storm had passed. His eyes narrowed. The first man's excuse, "I didn't see the Lugia," made the feathers along Echo's back bristle. It wasn't just about not seeing them. They hadn't cared. They had seen you, someone they thought was alone, vulnerable and small, and thought they could act without consequence. But the second man's words, those gave Echo pause. "We've heard multiple warnings previously about him having Pokemon and other creatures that would happily guard him." So they knew. They were warned, and they came for you anyway. That's how people in my universe are, unfortunately. Echo's grip on you tightened protectively, but with great care. The glow around his body softened as he held you against his chest, your warmth, your breath, your quiet heartbeat studying his rage. He looked toward the woods where they'd vanished. He could chase them, stop them now, prevent them from ever coming back, but something stronger than vengeance held him still. You. You'd risked everything just by trusting him, just by loving him. You didn't run when he showed you what he really was. You didn't flinch when he became a dragon, or a Lugia. You welcomed it. You praised him and you believed him. He's adorable. And now he believed in you. He bowed his head over you and whispered, "He's adorable. When you wake up, I'll be here. I promise." Then he shifted slightly, his long form shrinking and folding inward until he was once again your sweet crocodilian friend. His small toed orange jelly patting at your tear rolling in his big eyes. "Oh, he's adorable." "Come on," he whimpered softly. "Don't let them take you away. You said I was sweet, and you called me cute." Oh god, it's the first thing he brings up when he goes looking at Toad, though. He leaned down his forehead, the yours trembling slowly. "I'm not leaving you. Ever." And above the treetops, the wind held its breath, as if the entire world waited for you to open your eyes. Okay then, well. Holy crap. Give me a second. I said give me a second. Alright guys, let me read this out. It just says, the people in the woods continue to talk. The first dude says, "Well, we heard from other people that we should attack this kid relentlessly. So what do we do?" Second answers by saying, "Well, we heard from some people that they call him Raptor Boy. That person did give us this liquid right here. Apparently if we throw it on him, it would make him small and useless." And the first dude says, by saying, "Dude, keep it down. We don't want that Lugia attacking us." Echo's ears twitched. His head slowly turned toward the woods. It was tightening, his tail still. There it was again. Attack this kid relentlessly. Raptor Boy, make him small and useless. They weren't just random hunters. They were informed, organized, and deliberate. and they had plans that involved hurting you, plans that weren't over. Echoes crawled onto the dirt beside your body as his tail swayed with a slow, dangerous rhythm. Not wild or feral, but methodical. Measured like a beast calculating how many seconds it would take to leap into the trees and make those men disappear. But again, he looked down at you. You were still unconscious, but your fingers were twitching now. Breathing steady, you were fighting to wake up. Echo's expression softened instantly. No, not yet, he whispered. He jumped climbed on top of your chest and sat down almost like a hatchling guarding its nest, small in size but burning with protectiveness. Tail curled around your side, his eyes never leaving the tree line. The wind around the clearing stayed still, unnaturally so, as if waiting for a signal. In the woods, the first man whispered again, "What if the Logia hears us?" Second responded with a stop. "I don't think he can understand everything. Let's wait till the sun sets. Kid's still out cold anyway." Kazas wished. He heard, he understood, and he remembered. Every word, every threat, every insult, every cruel whisper. Not just about him, but about you. And when you woke up, when your eyes opened in, he would tell you. He'd let you decide what came next. But until then, he would guard you with every form, every power, every heartbeat in his little toad-owl body. Kazeko had found something, someone more important in his own past. He had found you, and nothing was going to take you away from him ever again. Holy crap. Yeah, the toad-owl became protective. Oh, that's very sweet of him, honestly. Alright, guys. I don't know if I'm going to continue any further. At least on. I don't know how much further I'm going to continue. I want to try to at least get past the 4-0 plan. The past the free plan until it runs out and then stop. At least we get to that point if I can. And I'm definitely going to try to. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.